it to Alvin to let him redeem himself. Alvin, what did you think of Source Code?
Source Code. All right. I really enjoyed this movie. I loved it. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I thought it was really creative. It felt very innovative. And it was like I had no idea where it was going to go up until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Which unfortunately that was my one and only problem with the film, which was the endings. And that was enough to really actually frustrate me and make me very angry. So there are two endings to this film.
Mm-hmm.
The first ending is when the 8 minutes are up, and he's
still in the world.
Yeah, he's still in the world, and
right.
and everything freezes. And for me, like if I could have it my way, that's where I would cut it. That would be the end.
Can you tell them a little bit more about the concept of how the 8 minutes works?
The 8 minutes work.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the idea is this: they've created some kind of technology that they're able to capture the last 8 minutes of a person's life, like after they die. And because so many people have died aboard this train, they're able to capture a lot of different perspectives of this train out of a lingering memory.
You guys seem slightly...
So bad.
Well, then talk.
You were completely wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually I thought this was one of the better time travel films because they came up with a way to change the past. So the whole idea of the time travel of this is built around string theory or M theory, which is that like every decision you make branches off a parallel universe.
Yeah.
And it might be in the past, so there are infinite number of parallel universes. So instead of actually traveling in time linearly, they're traveling horizontally. I don't know. They're traveling
actually
laterally to another dimension that is 8 minutes behind, and they just do that continuously, and so they're actually are able to change things.
Mm. See, I actually agree with Alvin I thought that they had latched into some guy's memory.
Hang on.
We were just playing
We have to address the virtual reality thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not virtual reality.
Yeah.
That's what was explained in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
No.
What did they say that it was? What do you think?
It's what Steve was just saying, traveling to a parallel.
Mm-hmm.
See, I thought that
Time
they had latched onto a dead man's memory, and they were able to find some way to latch onto this guy's 8 minutes of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see the whole thing with lots of other people. They're just able to enter his last eight minutes somehow and keep replaying it.
Yeah, his last 8 minutes in another dimension. Like they need someone to map his consciousness onto, but in this other dimension.
And let's talk a little bit more just about time travel movies. We've talked a lot about whether we have issues with this one, some of the debates with this, and this can frequently happen in time travel movies, is that they can be either crazy confusing or it's really hard to keep the concept clean and well put together and amazing. So talk a little bit about time travel in film, or even in this film.
I think one of the, actually up until maybe, well, I wouldn't put it that far. I really enjoyed this film, so I'm a little high on it right now, but one of the best time travel films, I think, is 12 Monkeys, because it does that. It actually is a time travel film instead of a dimensional travel film, and it maintains the timeline. And that's always a big sticking point for me. Like with Star Trek, the timeline isn't maintained. I understand there are reasons for that, but then it also creates a paradox because Spock didn't go back in time because
no, it doesn't. They just change color of matter and throw that different color matter at it, and it fixes everything.
Except now in the future, Spock doesn't go back in time to change.
Right.
So there's a paradox, right? I hate that. I hate paradoxes in time travel movies. It drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have to say.
So we're talk about
time travel is really difficult to do well.
Yeah.
I guess I don't necessarily have a problem with things in the past being changed. I have more of a problem with it in Star Trek because of how far back in time it goes, as opposed to something like Deja Vu, where it's the past 24 hours or so.
Small little snippets where they just start to go back.
Deja Vu is actually to me, one of the best time travel movies.
No, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not maybe not stylistically so much, but just the concept and plot.
Mhm.
We should just ban phones from the table. Yeah, the way he
It's supposed to be off.
It's silenced.
Yeah.
Anyways, the way
because the style is not clean at all, but the actual plot is pretty tight.
so it's hurt a little bit by Tony Scott's direction.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But just in terms of time travel, I think it's one of the better ones.
Yeah.
It was actually my favorite time travel movie since Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I think Back to the Future is really good. I judge a time travel or a sci-fi movie in general based on how serious they try to take it.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
for example, I would judge 12 Monkeys a lot harsher than I would judge Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, because it's meant to be a very serious movie.
Yeah.
But Bill and Ted's, while it's not perfect, it's still fun because it's just
That's-
a fun movie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Back to the Future is somewhere in between.
Mhm.
It's a fun movie, but it's also pretty serious. I haven't actually sat down and tried to analyze Back to the Future as a timeline movie to see if there are flaws or paradoxes, whatever. But I do like what I've seen so far, like that.
Source Code versus Heat.
Oh.
He was okay, I did enjoy that movie, but it's hardly memorable. Like the most memorable thing about
Memorable?
Heat. Yeah.
Coin a new phrase. I like
Yes.
That's when
Yeah.
you remember a memory
I don't
you
understand
had.
how you can say Heat's not memorable.
that. Title.
The only thing I remember is
you
the
already
end
had.
sequence with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino at the very end. And when they're having the conversation.
When they're just having dinner.
That's not the end.
yeah,
That's
no,
not the end. That's like
in the
halfway through
middle.
the movie.
All right, well, that's the only thing I remember about this movie.
No.
You don't remember the bank heist?
Yeah.
The shootout?
No.
Oh, it's got such a good thing.
I don't remember any of it either.
Oh, come on!
That's the only thing I remember.
Climax at the
I was just like, this is generic. That's how I felt.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I agree with Alvin completely.
No.
No, you need to reevaluate.
Yeah.
You need to reevaluate. Sir.
What? What do I need to reevaluate?
Stuff.
We're on point over here.
Yeah. Heat is. Oh.
Yeah, I'm voting for Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me one good thing about it.
One good thing?
Put on for like 5 minutes about
No,
it.
it's some of the most. Besides just some of the most iconic action scenes, it
Like?
once again shoots like
It's
Los
a
Angeles amazing.
tentpole crime thriller.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't remember it
De Niro
enough
and
to
Pacino.
say.
You're just saying words right now without actually saying anything from the movie.
He talked all about the bank heist. At that bank heist.
I just talked about the
is
bank heist,
fantastic.
the shootout,
yeah.
the climax. Not to mention the performance. I mean, we talked about Pacino.
Did I just time
Yes.
travel?
Not to-
I didn't hear anything you just said. I only heard like the bank
Well, there
heist thing.
seems to be a pattern of that. You don't remember me explaining this. You don't remember Jeffrey Wright explaining source code.
Yeah. He
Are you serious? You just spent 5 minutes talking about the bank heist?
Not 5 minutes. I was being hyperbolic, but
Oh.
yes,
He
I
talked-
I think
I
Nate
just,
was
I just
being hyperbolic.
yeah.
Val
He's
Kilmer is great in
He's
this
better.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
Was he a good guy or a bad
The
guy?
relationship. He was one of the. He's on
one
De
of the-
Niro's team.
yeah.
His heist team.
All right.
So, yeah,
His relationship with Ashley Judd in this movie is
Yeah.
fascinating.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that.
Natalie Portman is in this movie.
Mhm.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
What did she do?
She's the daughter of the woman that Al Pacino has seen.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's fascinating about this is it looks at how the lives that Pacino as a cop and De Niro as a criminal have chosen affect their personal lives
Yeah, I remember that.
and how they mirror each other
I remember
professionally and
Mhm.
personally.
Yeah.
And there's this whole thing about
This-
Natalie Portman's character attempting suicide, but doing it in
Mhm.
Pacino's hotel room instead of at her mother's. And
that. Yeah, okay, I remember that part.
This was one of the first films I think that when I noticed it really started to talk about how crime and how we control crime, that dichotomy and how actually similar they are. Like the cops and criminals, they're not that different.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it is just a profession choice.
And that's the crux
Yeah.
of the scene that they have that sit down at the diner.
Yeah.
They're basically both realizing how similar they are, and yet,
Mm-hmm.
you know, given the chance, they're going to take each other out.
Yeah. And also stars Jeffrey Wright.
Looking nice,
What up?
sexy.
Mm-hmm.